Good morning. 16th Lok Sabha came to an end yesterday. That was February 13th, 2019. The Lok Sabha has been adjourned sine die. After that, it will be prorogued. Later, it will be dissolved and the elections will be conducted. So, meaning very soon we are going to have 17th Lok Sabha elections, and most probably they will be conducted in the months of April and May. Since India is a very huge country, election commission has to make elaborate arrangements. So obviously, you require so many number of phases for conducting the elections. So definitely, in the month of April and May, elections are going to be conducted because the term of the 16th Lok Sabha will be ending by June 3rd. So before that, elections must be conducted and a new Lok Sabha has to come into the force. Meaning is simple, 17th Lok Sabha elections are going to be held in the month of April and May, and we are going to see the 17th Lok Sabha of India. Now, with respect to 16th Lok Sabha, yesterday was the last working day, that is February 13th, and Lok Sabha has been adjourned sine die. So when it comes to adjourned sine die, this is the power that is used by the speaker, meaning suspending the house for an indefinite period of time. So this is called adjourned sine die. This is how it happens, and later it will be prorogued by the president. So meaning is simple for our examination point of view. Who exercises the power of adjourned sine die? With respect to Lok Sabha, it is exercised by the speaker. If it is Rajya Sabha, it is exercised by the chairman. So, but we are discussing about Lok Sabha. Let's stick to Lok Sabha only with respect to our discussion. Another very important thing with respect to 16th Lok Sabha, compared to 15th Lok Sabha, the performance has increased. So many questions were asked, so many questions were answered, and so many bills were introduced and so many bills were passed. But I want you to remember one thing. Since yesterday was the last day for the 16th Lok Sabha, so many bills were passed in the Lok Sabha and they are pending in the Rajya Sabha. Please remember one point. If the bills are passed by Lok Sabha and if they are pending with the Rajya Sabha, at this time, if the Lok Sabha is dissolved, the bills are also considered to be dissolved. Please remember this. Just a few days back, I was telling you one thing. The government has introduced 125th Constitution Amendment Bill in Rajya Sabha. As we all know, Rajya Sabha is a permanent house. Since Rajya Sabha is a permanent house, so nothing will happen to the bills and the bills will be there. So there is no necessity of introduction of 125th Constitution Amendment Bill again in the Parliament because it is already introduced in the Rajya Sabha. But the bills that are introduced in the Lok Sabha, after the dissolution of the Lok Sabha, the bills will also be dissolved. But here what happened, I was telling you that there are good number of bills that are introduced in the Lok Sabha, passed in the Lok Sabha, they are presented in the Rajya Sabha, and they are pending in Rajya Sabha. Now the Lok Sabha has been dissolved, and what happens to the bills? That is important for the examination point of view. Though the bills are introduced in the Lok Sabha and passed in the Lok Sabha, later they came to Rajya Sabha and they are still pending in Rajya Sabha. If they are already passed by Rajya Sabha, then the president will sign it. But since they are pending in the Rajya Sabha, now the Lok Sabha has come to an end. Since the Lok Sabha has come to an end, these bills are not going to see the lights. Meaning these bills are considered to be dissolved. So maybe a citizenship amendment bill or triple talaq bill, all these are going to be dissolved after, if the government is really committed, whichever the party that comes to the power after the elections, if the government is really committed, again the new government will be introducing these bills once again in the Parliament. Meaning is simple, everything has to be will be started afresh. Please remember these points. So now I would like to show you the document with respect to the information that is related to 16th Lok Sabha and what exactly happened yesterday. Let's try to understand. Look at this. 16th Lok Sabha comes to an end The House was adjourned sine die. Please remember, Lok Sabha is adjourned sine die by the Speaker. Rajya Sabha will be by the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The current Lok Sabha saw a decline in the number of sitting days, but spent 32% of its time on legislative business, higher than the average of the previous houses. Meaning is simple: the number of days that they have worked has been reduced, but the percentage in terms of the output, they produced more. And Lok Sabha has passed 16th Lok Sabha has passed 133 bills, and 45 ordinances were promulgated during this particular time. You know what is ordinance? Under Article 123 of the Constitution of India, President proclaims ordinance, right? And such type of ordinances were proclaimed, and the number is 45 during the term of the 16th Lok Sabha, right? And 46 bills have been lapsed with the end of the 16th Lok Sabha. Look at this. According to the data compiled by PRS Legislative, 16th Lok Sabha sat for 331 days between June 2014 and February this year. This year means 2019. The past full term Lok Sabha sat for 468 days on an average. If you look at the average of the previous Lok Sabhas, it was 468 days during this 5 years term. But this Lok Sabha, 16th Lok Sabha sat only for 331 days. And with the 16th Lok Sabha adjourned sine die on February 13, 2019, over 3 dozens of the bills, including those bills that are related to Motor Vehicle Act, Chit Fund Act, Consumer Protection Bill, and land reforms, are all set to lapse, right? And there are some politically sensitive bills are also there, like banning instant triple talaq and amending the Citizenship Act. We discussed everything. We discussed the triple talaq bill, and we also discussed citizenship amendment bill. All these things we have discussed, and they are now going to be lapsed. They are going to be dissolved. So dissolved in the sense, so with respect to 16th Lok Sabha, they have come to an end. After the formation of the new Lok Sabha, 17th Lok Sabha, these bills are supposed to be introduced once again. Look at this. In the budget session of 2018-19, 100% of demands were passed without discussion. This happened previously in 2004 and 5 and 2013-14 during the 14th and 15th Lok Sabhas. We know that there are 141 demands in the budget, and each demand is expected to be discussed elaborately and voted separately. But with respect to the budget session of 2018-19, prior to this 2004 and 5, and after that 2013-14, 100% demands were passed without discussion, meaning they were guillotined, right? You know the terms. Closure, you know what is the meaning of the closure, you know what is the meaning of guillotine. I explained you during the time of budget discussion. And when it comes to question number in Lok Sabha, it functioned for 67% of its scheduled time due to the disruptions. Question hour in Rajya Sabha functioned for a proportion of 41% of its scheduled time during the last 2 parliaments. And also remember this, a no confidence motion was moved against Narendra Modi government and discussed during the monsoon session of 2018, hope you remember, but the motion was defeated after discussions, which was lasted for more than 11 hours. So tomorrow there may be a possible question in the examination. How many no confidence motions were introduced in the 16th Lok Sabha? Answer is only one, and it happened in the year 2018, and the motion was defeated. Please remember each and every point. Look at this. All the bills that have been passed by the Lok Sabha but not by the Rajya Sabha have lapsed. For any of these bills to be revived and for it to progress, it will have to be introduced afresh on a future date after 17th Lok Sabha assembles after the general elections. Clear? 16th Lok Sabha term is going to be end by June 3rd. All the bills, the lapsing of these bills in accordance with the rules regarding bills have been already been passed by Lok Sabha. Meaning is simple, the bills that are passed by Lok Sabha and pending in the Rajya Sabha, since Lok Sabha is dissolved, bills are also gone. Bills have been lapsed. Look at this. Another very important point. What is the first bill and what was the last bill that was introduced in the 16th Lok Sabha? First bill that was passed by Lok Sabha was the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Amendment Bill of 2014. So this is respected to Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Few mandals in a district have been, divided, and it has been merged with the other district, other state. It was the first bill that was passed by the 16th Lok Sabha, while the last one was to amend the Jallianwala Bagh National Memorial Act of 1951. Important one. So kindly remember this. So what about the performance graph of 16th Lok Sabha? Right. So this is the information I am giving you based on the information I got from the Hindu paper of today, that is February 14th. Unstarred questions. So many are there. Matters under the rule 377, 4689. Matters taken up during the 0 hour, 6198. Committee reports 715 have been tabled. Hard questions replied 1169. Number of statements made 659. Private member bills introduced. Look at this, 1117 private member bills were introduced. You know what is a private member bill, right? Private member is a member who is not a minister, meaning apart from ministers, even the members who are not ministers, the so-called private members, can also introduce the bills, and those bills are called private member bills. Is that okay? If a bill is introduced by a minister, those bills are called public member bills. And with respect to government bills, 200 have been passed. Calling attention motion 18 times. Half an hour discussion took place for 5 times. And adjournment motions admitted and discussed was 1. Right? And during our polity classes, I explained you all the things, and even in the future also, depending on the necessity, depending on the information that is available, then we'll be discussing all these points once again, right? Otherwise, you know what is calling attention motion, what is adjournment motion, what is half an hour discussion, everything you already know, right? So that's all for the day. So that is the end of the 16th Lok Sabha, and we'll be looking forward for the elections to be conducted for the 17th Lok Sabha. And I'll stop at this stage, and I'll see you tomorrow with more and more current events. Thank you so much for being with me this morning. Take very good care and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.